Hello and welcome to Elite 50, your one-stop shop for all things business and leadership. In the previous videos, in the first video, in fact, I've shared with you 10 types of leadership, 10 types of leadership thinking. Second video, I shared with you OPS. The first one is a leadership framework or a listing, basically. It's not a framework. It's a listing under the topic of leadership. Second one is a framework under the topic of entrepreneurship. Today, I'm going to share with you a framework called the GEE framework. And this one belongs to the domain or subject of continuous improvement or Kaizen. So essentially, I'm going to share the framework with you, and you have to find out how you can deploy this framework at your workplace. What are the different ways you can leverage this framework to create a culture of continuous improvement at your workplace, within your team, within your organization, right? And this is something that I have been coaching CXOs for a few years now, and there have been multiple occasions where I have delivered this as in my coaching sessions. So I'm not going to share that again here and re-record it. I'm going to use one of the recordings where I think it has been explained clearly and the animations are apt. So I'm going to share that video, a recording of that. This is, I think, from the year 2021, February of 2021. So go ahead, pay attention, learn the framework, learn its relevance and its impact, and then see if you can deploy this at your workplace and become the leader that your organization is counting, your team is counting on you to become, right? And take your organization to the levels that nobody else other than you can take, right? So go ahead, learn the framework. I'll see you at the end of the video. That is the burning problem. Now, how do you solve it? I'm going to share with you a strategy called PW strategy, or I call it GEE strategy. Okay. So GEE stands for gather, evaluate, execute. I have to keep my frameworks always simple so that it resonates with everyone, so that it's easy to understand and implement. So this strategy is called GEE strategy, gather, evaluate, execute. Or sometimes I also refer to the same strategy as PW strategy or problem worth strategy. So let me help you understand the GEE first. Okay, gather, evaluate, execute. It simply means that you must have a physical wall, which I call the problem wall, inside your organization, which is accessible to the entire employee base of that location. Now, if you have a big business where multiple locations are involved, you have offices at different locations, then each of these locations should have the center, at the center of the physical office, you should have a huge wall. I don't know, 20 feet by 10 feet, 25 feet by 10 feet, I don't know, whatever the size that works for you, it should be at the center around which your entire employee base could gather. Okay, and I call this the PW, problem wall, where each of the employees can come and put a problem that he or she needs the organization to look at as a problem and maybe solve it. So the significance of the problem wall is the entire employee base could surround it, could go to it and put a problem or area of improvement as they see it. That this is something that we should look at as a team, as a department, as an organization. We should focus our time, effort and energy in solving this problem or improving this area. Right? So that is what the importance of problem wall is. Every employee has access to it. They can go and put a problem there. You can define a particular template, employee name, employee ID, type of problem, category of problem, right? You can mention that and share it with the employee base, digital format. They can download, print it, and then write their problems in that. Okay. And then, paste it on the problem wall so that everybody could see it. Okay. That is the importance of a problem wall. Now, why is this important? Because, this is based on, this strategy I created based on a quote from Steve Jobs, which basically sounded something like, it doesn't make sense to hire smart people and then tell them what to do. You hire smart people because you want them to tell how to do things in a better way. Right, so that code is the basis of this GEE framework. So what do you do? First step is gather, create a central location. Now, since COVID time is going on, you can focus on a digital version, but I always prefer a physical location where the employees can gather around, right? So that should be a center, physical center or logical center of your office where you have a huge problem wall. Employees go paste their problems. Okay, so that's the first step. Second step is evaluate. So for example, whenever I have helped organizations or people like you, not in this group, in the other group as well, whenever I have helped or consulted any business owner in implementing a PW or a problem wall, we always find out the category that is important, and mostly it's around 5, 6 or 7 generic categories that will come out. I'm going to share them with you. As a CEO, take a camera, record that, hey, team members or employees, I want us to find out areas of improvement in these areas, or alignment should be there with all these 5, 6 different areas. For example, first priority is, if you think as an employee that there is an area that can, if we improve on, it will help us improve our customer satisfaction score or user experience, right, for our customers. That problem, you please let us know. We will take up it as a team, as a company, as an organization, we'll improve it. So UX means user experience is how many different places your customer touch points are. And each of these touch points you must monitor as a business owner. Okay, every time your customer interacts with a website or an app or a customer service executive or any other touch point that you have in the business, how is that experience for your customer, right? And you have to improve that user experience or UX related problems. Tell that to your employees. Hey employees, if you have or if you notice any kind of areas where you can improve the customer's experience of interacting with us as a business, let us know. We will improve that. Second category, you can say that our employees are very important to us. That's why if you find any area of improvement, scope of improvement, any challenge, any problem which will help us, if we resolve that problem, it will help us improve the employee satisfaction score or employee engagement levels, then we will take that as a problem and we will solve it. That is priority to us as a business owner, as a CXO team. We give very much high priority to this thing, employee satisfaction. So you let us know if there is a problem. So that is the second category. Third category could be productivity improvement. As a business, if till today we have certain processes we have been following, that's why you have grown from 0 to 50 crores, 0 to 10 crores, 0 to 20 crores. Now that you are trying to go from 50 to 500 crores, you must change the process which you use to do your regular work. If till today you have been doing something, a particular project, let's say average lifespan is 12 months. Now you have to improve your processes so that the same product, same project could be delivered in less than 12 months, let's say 8 months. So if you remove the average or reduce the average delivery cycle of a project from 12 months to 8 months, your revenue making chances, your productivity improves, right? So any idea that helps you, your team, your organization that to improve its productivity, that should be welcome, and you should communicate that to the employees. So that's the third category. First is customer satisfaction, UX related problems. Second is employee satisfaction related ideas or problems, productivity problems. You can focus on that. Then the next would be quality related problems. Once again, this quality thing is important to a lot of business owners, should be to each one of you. And what comes to my mind is Steve Jobs' quote again: we just can't ship junk, right? So you cannot throw out junk into the market, because that impacts everything, your customers' experience, your brand value, your brand loyalty, everything gets impacted, right? So you should communicate to your employees, hey employees, as a business, quality is very important to us, and we don't only talk, we are giving you the opportunity. Anytime you see a problem that is impacting the quality of our product or service or customer experience, we would like you to inform to us about the problem so that we can solve it and improve the quality of our products and services. So that you can tell. So 4 categories are done. Now the 5th category could be something like, hey employees, our brand is very important, because our brand identity, our brand loyalty, our brand penetration defines how big a company we will become. So it defines our growth as a business. That is why it is important. So as an employee base, as an employee, if you find an area of improvement, if you find a problem that if we can solve, it will help us improve our company's, organization's brand identity, brand loyalty, brand penetration. Let us know. We will take that also as a priority, and we will solve that with you. We'll work with you to solve that problem. So that is the 5th category. Maybe the 6th could be, hey employees, if you have any problem around clarity, roles and responsibility related clarity, best practices related clarity, things that you are supposed to do, not supposed to do related clarity, HR policy related clarity, post related clarity. Whenever you have a situation which is stopping you from gaining clarity in understanding of your roles and responsibility, or understanding the organization's practices, or how to handle a particular crisis, right? Whenever you have lack of clarity, right, let us know, and we will solve that problem, and we will improve the clarity for the entire employee employee base, right? So how to handle customer complaints, etc., etc., right? So clarity improvement ideas are also welcome. Then the seventh category you can give them as is demolishing competition, right? Competition is very important as a business organization. If you want to become the top leader inside your domain, inside your market, you must find out a way to stay ahead of competition. And one of the strategic advantages comes from understanding what your competition is doing and then putting in place practices and things that will help you stay ahead of competition. So employees, let us know if you find out a way or a problem that needs to be solved, which will, when solved, it will help us stay ahead of competition, right? And this also, I think it's a Steve Blank's quote that's coming to my mind around competition. It's your real competition is not the competition you think, your competitors that you know of strategically. Actually, your real competition is a couple of millennials with a laptop sitting in a garage, which are not going to come and disrupt you as a business. They're going to come and disrupt your entire market. So that's your real competition. I think it's a Steve Blank quote. I'm not, if I remember correctly, you can go and check that, right? So that is something we welcome as a suggestion or a problem that we need to solve. So we have discussed 7 alignment. So if there's alignment with any of these 7 areas, please report that as a problem. So that is the second step after gathering evaluation. Customer satisfaction or UX related problems, employee satisfaction related problems, productivity related problems, quality improvement related problems. Then we have branding, brand loyalty, brand identity, brand penetration problems. You have improving clarity problems. You have demolition competition problems. If any of these problems you can find out as an employee, please put it on the problem wall. Let's discuss this. Let's find out a solution for it. You can do that. This is the evaluation phase. Okay. GEE strategy or PW, problem wall execution strategy, right? So now let's talk about execution of strategy. So I have told how do you execute it, right? Now you can definitely, I can get engaged with any one of you if you're interested and we can take it forward. But in case you're implementing by on your own, understand how this gets implemented, right? So what I would suggest is a frequent meeting. Now you can define your frequency, but I would say if you are less than 500 employees, it should be a quarterly meet. If it's more than 500 employees, it should be a monthly meeting. And I suggest to call it Kaizen day. It's a continuous improvement Kaizen day. And what happens on that particular day is we focus on 3-4 items. It's a couple of hours of the meeting could be 2 hours or 2.5 or 3 hours, depending on how you're going to execute it. But I think 2 hours should be good enough, close enough to handle this. So first thing, what we do in this Kaizen day event, every month we meet for a couple of hours, the employees gather around. The first thing we do is we approve or reject the problem that is there on the problem wall. So what happens is the employee group comes for the first 15 minutes, they go through all the problems in the problem wall, and then they vote it. You can define your employee base or your CXO team or your department heads or your managers could come up with a voting mechanism, something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 means it's a poor problem, we should ignore it. 2 is average problem, we think we can survive with it. It's not impacting a top line or bottom line or quality or customer experience or branding. We can ignore it for the time being. We can come back to it later. Then number 3 means it's a good problem, we should discuss about it. Number 4 is very good problem, this needs to be addressed. Number 4 is excellent problem, this needs to be solved today, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, poor, average, good, very good, and excellent. You can use that framework or you can define your own voting criteria for employees. So first 15 minutes, employees go through all the problems that has been reported that month and they rate it on 1 to 5, right? 1 means you can ignore, 5 means this is the problem we need to discuss. Now, once the voting is done, 15 minutes is done, next 45 minutes, you can focusing on discussing the top 5 problems. Let's not, let it not be top 1 problem, top 10 problem. Let's do it top 5 problems. Okay, that is the optimal number that works for everyone. So next 45 minutes, we are focused on discussing the top 5 problems, right? And I always recommend that you follow a 𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒎𝒄 model. 𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒎 is a Japanese philosophy which says that you cannot have more than 20 slides and you should focus on 20 seconds for each slide. So 20 into 20, 400 seconds. You cannot take more than 400 seconds, 6 minutes and 40 seconds. What you discuss is in the 6 minutes 40 seconds is what I'm going to share with you. Now the first thing is in 6 minutes 40 seconds, the reporter of the problem goes on the stage, goes to the center of the room or the employee group that is gathered and explains what exactly the problem is, right? The second thing, how is it impacting us today as a team, as an employee base, as a group, as a department, as an organization? How is it impacting us today? The third thing, how will this impact us over a period of 12 to 16 months? If we don't solve this problem today, if we ignore it, how is it impacting us as a business, as a department, as a team, as an employee group over the next year to 5 years, 12 to 60 months, right? Financial impacts, what could be there, brand related impacts, what could be there, customer satisfaction related problems, what could be there, tangible benefits, intangible benefits, we solve it today, right? All kinds of things you can discuss. The next thing which makes your case solid, since you are reporting this as an employee, what makes your case solid is some kind of case, your example from a particular project, or a competitor's example, or a startup that is trying to solve this problem. Any kind of example will make your case solid, right? So you can include that. That will take 1 to 2 minutes. Again, you can do that with a few slides. The next thing is the problem reporter. You can make it an organization culture, organization practice, right? That we are currently discussing how to create a culture of continuous improvement, Kaizen, right? This is the 4th strategy we are in. So you can create an organizational policy that whoever is reporting a problem, they should at least suggest a couple of solutions, right? And they can do all this within the first 6 minutes and 40 seconds. We could discuss this. What is the problem and how is it impacting us today? How will this impact us over a timeline of 12 to 60 months? And any kind of case study or particular incident from your projects or experience that will solidify your case that yes, this is a problem that needs to be solved. Then a little bit of solutioning. This is what you are doing, and then this is how the presenter is done. 5 problems we discuss for 6 minutes 40 seconds, so 30 minutes something. So overall 45 minutes you take for it, and a little bit of discussion, and you close it. How you close is, once the presentation is done, the CXO team or whoever the responsible decision makers are present in the meeting, they will assign an owner. Okay, this particular CXO, this particular division head, department head, manager is going to be responsible for this particular problem. That's how you end the first hour. So this is the end of the first hour. What do we do in the second hour? Because coach, you said it's 2 hours, right? So let's do it this way. Now, since we are sitting in February, what we are supposed to do is we will do this month's Kaizen day, and into this February's Kaizen meet, we will discuss January. What is the problem that what are the problems, top 5 problems we identified? What is the progress made on that? So the owners that we assign in the last meeting, they will come to the table. They will take a few minutes of time. You guys can decide on the timelines on this, and they will each represent the update. Team is fixed, budget is allocated, this milestone is achieved, this is what we have done, right? So till that month, till like February 2021, right? So till that date, whatever has happened, you can take an update on that, and you can fix a 10 to 15 minutes time frame for this. Since it's again 5 projects or 6 projects or 10 projects, you can decide how much time you want to invest on this. You can keep it to 30 minutes max. Okay? So updation is something that you do. The next is celebrate. What do you celebrate? There are 2 items that you must celebrate. Celebrate achievement of all the milestones in any particular project of improvement. Small milestone, big milestone, medium milestone, all kinds of milestones that you have achieved in resolving a particular problem reported by the employees. All those milestones must be celebrated, small, big, any kind. Okay, that becomes the part of the culture of celebrating finding problems and solving problems, right? So that should be celebrated. The second thing that must be celebrated is after the solutions are put in place. Now, problem was raised, solution is implemented, everything is done. You have to monitor and measure the benefits to see, is it the same benefits that we expected or predicted? Is it more than what we predicted? Is it less than we predicted? How are you getting the benefits out of your continuous improvements? How are you getting benefits from your Kaizen implementations? That's something that you must celebrate. These benefits must be measured, and major achievements should be celebrated. Yes, we implemented a particular idea to improve the market penetration or brand penetration, and that has improved our brand penetration by 20%, 30%, whatever, right? That should be celebrated. Okay, so that's the celebration angle. After updation, you can do celebration. The last one is rewards and recognition, which I'll touch base upon, because the real problem reporters who suggest impactful solutions as well, they must be rewarded handsomely so that they are encouraged to continuously find areas of improvement and be part of the continuous improvement process, the Kaizen process. So to increase their level of engagement and participation, you must reward those people who not only found the problems but suggested impactful and practical and simplistic solutions that you implemented as an organization, and you are benefiting today from their ideas. You must reward them handsomely. So this is kind of the overall execution. First you discuss the problem, approval, reject, and then discuss the problems that are approved, and then you assign an owner. Then you move on to updation over the previous improvement projects that is in ongoing basically. So you take updation, then you celebrate the milestones that we have achieved on the Kaizen projects, as well as the benefits that we have started receiving by doing the Kaizen activities, right? Then last is rewards and recognitions, right? So this is how you are going to implement it. Now, since I might not be involved with all of you, I'm going to give you a few guidelines when you are implementing problem wall or GEE, gather, evaluate and execute on your own. These are a couple of guidelines that you must stick to. So the first guideline is you must be a data-driven organization. Without data, tracking change or measuring improvement is going to be really challenging. Hence, whose idea improved things by how much will always remain controversial. It will be a subjective discussion then, because you don't have data to support your discussion or your claim, right? So that is why in order to implement problem wall or GEE strategy, you must be a data-driven organization. If you are not, then we will discuss being a data-driven organization and what kind of practices and habits you should put in place. We'll discuss some other time, but you must do that. That's the first guideline. Second point is a culture of transparency. Now, that is important because what is the real impact of a particular problem? It will be difficult to measure without availability of relevant data. So whenever an employee is trying to suggest an area of improvement that this is a problem, I said they must tell you the impact as well. How do you tell the impact without having proper data? Right? How is this impacting our brand penetration? How is this impacting our customer satisfaction? How is this impacting our employee satisfaction? If you don't have this data, right? You don't have a culture of transparency where this data could be shared with all the employees. It'll be difficult to, engage the audience, engage the employee group in process improvement or, continuous improvement culture creation, right? That will be a real challenge. The next thing is, next guideline, the third guideline probably is for each of the problem wall discussion, PW discussion or Kaizen day event every month, right? The entire CXO team must be present. It's a mandatory requirement for the CXO team. It's part of the KRA and KPI. You guys, you have to make it part of your KRA and KPI, and you must ensure that you are present in these meetings. And nothing in the organization takes priority over a PW discussion, because participation of the CXO team, participation of the senior leadership team members, SLT members, ensures that the employee group understands the priority of this day, this event to the entire organizations, and over a period of time making it part of the organization's blueprint or DNA, because your CXOs are there, they are taking ownership, they are driving these discussions, they are coming back to the employee group with updation. Okay, hey, we discussed this as an area of improvement, this is the improvement we have made, this is the implementation we have made. So since you guys are engaged as business owners, as entrepreneurs and decision makers, you are engaged in this, over a period of time this will slowly become a culture. This will be ingrained as part of your organizational DNA or organization's blueprint. Okay, that's why it's very important that for all the problem wall discussions or Kaizen day events, CXO teams are engaged, they are present, they're taking ownership, right? The last guideline would be the fourth guideline, is basically you must have a solid reward and recognition system. And rewards and recognition system basically says that this is, it should be fair, right? And it doesn't, most of the CXOs or department heads or managers, they are not allowed to do one thing basically, that you are not allowed to play the card. You are supposed to do that, and that is why you are being paid a salary, and that's why you are an employee of the company. As the employee, you're supposed to do this. So there is no extra special reward or recognition. No, never ever play that you were supposed to do that. You as an employee, this was expected of your card when it comes to continuous improvement, when it comes to Kaizen events. Never play that card. Okay. So that's the fourth strategy around how do you create a culture of continuous improvement, culture of Kaizen inside your company. We have discussed 4 strategies. Now I'll just end this fourth strategy with a quote. I think it was from father of modern management, father of management consulting, Peter Ferdinand Drucker, one of my favorite business coaches and consultants. I think he said something in the line of the entrepreneur always searches for change responds to it, and exploits it as an opportunity. I would just focus on removing change with problem. So if I change the word change with problem, Peter Drucker's quote would sound like, the entrepreneur always searches for problems, responds to it, and exploits as an opportunity. That's the best quote. Okay, and that is why problem world discussion, or GEE, gather, evaluate, execute, of problems, right, on a continuous basis. This framework helps you identify the bigger and better problems that you need to solve as a business, so that you can remain growing, you can remain profitable, you can improve your customer satisfaction, you can improve your employee satisfaction. You can do everything if you implement this strategy, right? Let's move on to the next one. Hello and welcome back. So I hope GEE framework is clear to you, its relevance, its impact is clear to you. Next stop is you taking activity, you deploying this particular framework. Starting small is the best advice I can give you. So start with your team, expand it to your department, and then probably to your division, and then to the entire regional office, and then you can go to multiple offices and basically ingrain this as part of your organization DNA, right? And this has been this has brought a lot of benefit. This can bring you a tons of benefit in terms of productivity, in terms of improvements, in terms of customer satisfaction, in terms of quality improvements. It can change your organization and take you to the next level, as I just said. So I'm not going to repeat myself any further. Thank you for attending this video or joining me in this video. I hope this has been valuable. I'll see you in the next video, where we're going to discuss against a framework which can, within 90 days of practice, 90 to 100 days of practice, this particular framework can actually impact your top line or bottom line, mostly bottom line, and improve, let's say improve as in cost reduction could go 30 to 40%, right, in the first quarter itself. Let's not say, yeah, first quarter itself, you can expect a cost reduction or cost improvement of 30 to 40%, productivity improvement of 30 to 40%, right? And as they say, the most impactful frameworks are the simplest one. So next video is going to be exciting one. I'll be seeing you there. Until then, take care and be limitless. And once again, thank you for joining. Thank you for enrolling into Elite 50. Bye-bye.